Hey guys, Ryan the Nerd here, and despite me not posting for about 10 days or so, I am not pulling a map pad. I am not retiring from YouTube. I'm pretty sure a couple of people have actually thought that I was actually going to quit because of the latest trend of YouTubers quitting or retiring from YouTube. But don't fret, I have big plans for 2024. But before we get to those big plans, we gotta do some more reviews. And continuing on another trend of doing Christmas reviews, today we're gonna be taking a look at the Five Nights at Freddy's Circus Freddy. Now, I want to give a big thank you to Jordan for giving me this for Christmas as well. And this is the Circus line. If you remember, I did do a review of Circus Foxy, the Funko Pop. And in that review, I mentioned how confused I was because I never seen this line or this theme anywhere in the FNAF area fandom, I guess. This might be a FNAF AR like type of theme going on here, but I'm not quite sure. It could be just an original idea by Funko or Scott, whoever knows. But yeah, so thank you, Jordan, for giving me this. So on the back of the box here, you can see all the different characters as well. You got Balloon Freddy, Circus Bonnie, Circus Tika, Circus Foxy, and Circus Freddy. I don't know why it's just Balloon Freddy. It's kind of weird. So you got two different variations of Freddy there. That's cool, I guess. And then you can also see, I really like the Bonnie though. The Bonnie looks really cool. And also Foxy just looks identical to his Funko form, which looks really nice with the deflated balloon and everything like that. Very, very cool. So let's take a look at the actual figure. So here is Circus Freddy. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite FNAF Funko action figures that I have in my collection. And I have done basically, I've done a review on Freddy and Bonnie of the original action figure line for the FNAF, that merchandise. And the reason why I think that this is my favorite one is actually due to the articulation. If I just reach up here and just show you Freddy here, I did do a review of this, of Freddy a long time ago. This is the original one, a long time ago, so many of you might not remember that review. But the reason why I think that this one is a way better action figure than this one is mostly to do with the joints. The original action figures line, especially with the FNAF 1 animatronics, they have all their articulation mostly comes from ball joints here. And sometimes the ball joints can get a little bit wobbly, especially in the head area. Their joints, and a lot of people have complained about how the ball joints don't actually like to stay put all the time and they just fall off. And the articulation is very limited. Like, see, there you go. It's just very, very limited. It's not much you can really do with it. You can't really do stop motion. I mean, you kind of can, but like, it's going to be kind of difficult to do that if there are people who do stop motion with these action figures here. They probably know what I'm talking about because like I said before, the joints, they're just not as great as they used to be. And even though that it is like a 10-year-old figure, the joints still hold up pretty well, except for the wobbly head and everything. But speaking of action figure, let's take a look at Circus Freddy here. So he's actually got a ball jointed head and a very stiff ball joint. You can hear the tightness of that joint there. Way better than the floppy head. Excuse me. If I just take a look at Bonnie here, I also did a review on him. You can see how wobbly his head is. If I just do this, it's like a bobblehead. There it goes. His head just spins out of control, and it just doesn't look all that great. Here, we actually got a really stiff ball joint, which actually looks really, really good. It feels good, despite, you know, the terrible sound coming from it. But yeah, very, very nice. So he can look up that far and down that far. Pretty good range of motion, actually. Way better than these ones because they literally just go like that. There's like barely up and down motion. For the arms here, they can also rotate 360 degrees. It's a little bit tight, but you can, in fact, rotate them. And you also get a very, very nice bend at the elbow here. Very nice, and he can bend all the way back, so you can get some weird looking pose there. And I don't know if it's just my copy or if it's just really stiff. I don't know, or they're just not supposed to move. But I think that the wrists are supposed to move, I'm thinking, but not really, because it's not really moving, so I don't know why. Either it's just really stiff and I need to warm it up with a hair dryer, which I should have done before this review, but you know, I like to do stuff beforehand, and I'm just lazy, pretty much. And he also has a waist swivel, pretty tight one as well. It does break the sculpt with like the belly and the coloring, so if you turn it a little bit far, it looks a little bit weird, so you want to turn it somewhat slightly so you don't break the sculpt there. For the legs here, they can rotate 360 degrees as well. Since they're at a kind of weird angle, they kind of don't really, they just rotate at a very strange way. And then for the feet here, they are also on a rotation, so they can also rotate all the way. But yeah, even though that the articulation on this figure is very, very limited, I actually really do think that it's a step above the original action figures, mostly because of the articulations. You don't have those really loose ball joints, and the joints feel really solid. It doesn't feel like anything's going to become loose over time. Maybe the head, but that's just mostly because of past experiences with these figures, where the head just becomes really wobbly over time. But since that this is really tight and I can feel it, and you can also hear it as well, it feels like it's not going to come loose anytime soon. And the amount of detail on this, like the sculpting work and everything, even though that it is just, you know, one basic uniform color of the brown and like the somewhat blue and red sprinkled in, it really does look really nice. The hat on here, he's got a little flower there as well on top of his little top hat there. Very, very nice. Even got a little clown nose there as well. Very, very love the detail on the bow tie as well, and also on the vest as well. You can even see where the button would actually slide into that little slit there. Very, very cool. And then the different coloration of his at the bottom of his paws, and he also has a little tail. How adorable. Then you can also see the gloves as well, which are just white, so pretty basic. One more thing to mention, he does come with an accessory here, which is kind of like a inflatable balloon, inflatable hammer. Very, very cool. I really like this accessory, mostly due to the detail on this thing. This thing is, I was not expecting this amount of actual detail from this accessory, mostly because sometimes they're just really basic, especially with like the original ones. They're just basically just one kind of, they're very small, they don't have much detail on them. But this, on the other hand, looks fantastic. It actually looks like an inflatable hammer that you would get at like a fair or something. Mostly to do with like the stretch marks of the actual kind of rubber of the hammer as well. You can see that, and you can also see like the different, like the ridges of like the rubber coming off the handle as well. And you can also see the air pump as well. Very, very nice. Something though, it does get a little bit weird with like the it's not completely white. This side is completely white. This side you can see how like weird it is, but maybe that's done intentionally to make it look like it's not, you know, perfect or anything. But just seeing that this side is completely normal and this side has like a little bit of red kind of splotched onto the top there, it makes me think otherwise. And he can hold it in his hands as well. Very, very nice. But it does suffer from the same kind of, it does suffer from the same curse as the original figures as well, where their accessories don't really like to hold in their hands very well. Like their grip is very, very loose. It's not that great to hold on, mostly because of the sculpting work on the actual hands there. It's just because it's not actually gripping it, it's just kind of sitting in there. So like if I shake it hard enough, it's just gonna fall out, right? So other than that, this is a really great figure. I really do like the amount of articulation, even though that it is pretty limited. It's a big step in the right direction for these Funko Fnaf action figures. The accessory is really cool, especially with the detail, and it's very small, so he's not going to take up too much space on your shelf. But anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care what you do, but you know what time it is. So, bye, guys.